Hi everybody, welcome to Sharon's Home and Garden channel. It's a gloomy, rainy day today and we're about to get a bunch of rain and then a severe cold front going through. So we've been told that the temperatures will drop as much as 15 to 20 degrees today. So I wanted to get out here before it gets really cold and the threat of frost passes and kind of give you maybe a final garden tour. Maybe? I don't know. We'll see. So let's do this. I don't know why, but I always start my garden tours by the hydrangeas. So you can see they have really gotten their blush colors. And I think they are just so beautiful. So I will leave these blooms on here all winter. And they kind of fall off as the winter goes. And then in the spring I just break off the ends where the blooms are and just the bush will get bigger then every year. So yeah, they look really good. So pretty. Here is my little lettuce bed. It's growing. This one is doing really well. But I don't think we're going to get any lettuce because I just planted them too late. And I've still got a bunch of onions. I've been eating them, but I just can't eat them fast enough. So these are Japanese bunching onions, and I would definitely plant those again. They're a really nice plant. So in the greenhouse, it's crowded in here. I've got these 3 big pots that I moved. My bay laurel tree, which I have to bring in today, because I don't know how that will do if it gets really cold. But my fuchsia is loving it out here. It has rebloomed. That was a fun plant to have around. So I have a couple of my tropical plants, my spider plant. This plant has died and come back several times. My lemon trees, they're ready to go inside. And my aloe, I still need to trim him up and put him inside with his little sad owl. So we are getting some ripe peppers. Some habaneros. And we'll see how they do over the weekend. Oh, here, Pusajawala, getting more ripe peppers there. We'll see. They should be okay over the weekend because the ground is still warm enough that it'll keep it warm enough in here. As we walk over here, you can see I've taken down all of the cucumbers. And I still have, these are marigolds here, which they were in the shade, so they didn't grow very well. Peppers, I need to pull these out. I just haven't gotten around to it. Yeah, all this stuff looks pretty good still, believe it or not. So empty spots in the garden. Waiting for next year. So I think I figured out what is growing on the arbor. There are morning glories on here. A little bit of tomato left over. But this is morning glory. A variety of morning glory. Really flourishing in the fall. Here you can see my cherry tomato has climbed all the way over. This one too as well on the cucumber trellis. So let me see if I can get to the flower. I don't think these will survive the really cold weather. But it's nice to see some green over the arbor. I think it's pretty. Here you can see I've taken down the tomatoes. The garden seems so much bigger without all the plants in it. And all the melons are gone. More morning glories on this side. Aren't they pretty? And this is a plant called, I believe this is monastery bells. Yes, this is monastery bells. I don't think this is going to survive the winter, but it's so kind of intertwined with the trellis. I can't get it out and put it inside. If it survives, it'll be interesting to see if it flowers, because it did not flower this year. So here was Japanese long cucumbers were here, and then the squashes, pumpkins, squashes, and I got everything I could reach. There's still more up here, but for the most part, everything is out. I want to give a mention about this landscape fabric. It has performed remarkably well. It shows no sign of wear, and the only place I'm getting weeds, like right here, is where the staples are. There's a staple there. You see it? That's the only place I'm getting weeds, and like where I have the holes for the plants. But even those were not too bad. But as I walk around here, and there are a lot of leaves and stuff, but there are no weeds. I'll go down here. Again, you can see now the chippies have gone through, and here's some, you know, little piece of grass here and there. Here's a weed in here. There are just no weeds, and it has truly been a blessing to have this ground cover. I gotta tell you, worth every penny. It really was. If I had to weed this area, I would have given up a long time ago. So, totally worth it. As I look into my raised bed garden, I should probably harvest the last of these fish peppers. And I also have a lot of these black Hungarian peppers. Should harvest those before it gets really cold. But there's a lot of flowers left in this garden. The cosmos and even a few zinnias left. Give the bees one last chance. If we move over here, got a couple zucchini plants. Now I'm going to be gone this weekend when it's really cold. I'm thinking about putting a bucket over each of these. And I have to figure out how to do that so they're not in total darkness for the whole weekend. Just to see if I can preserve them. Once this cold front goes through, then I can take the bucket off and they'll be fine. These are pak choy and bok choy. I don't know which is which. They are doing pretty well. I don't think they will survive either. Here is my dwarf tamarillo. Gardenberry finally put berries on. So if I ever grow this again, which I won't, but if you're interested in growing this, it needs a really long growing season. Longer than what I have here in my zone. So I would probably start this in January next time. If I ever decide to grow it again. Uh-oh, here comes the cold front. And then maybe we can get some fruit. The other one next to it, melon pear. I got a lot of fruit on it. Now the chippies have come in and taken most of it. But it just doesn't seem, let me pick this off, to ripen. It almost looks like a cucamelon. But they never seem to ripen. They're really hard. This again, if you are interested in growing this, I would start it indoors in January if you're in my zone. In the other side of this bed I have radishes here, carrots, and kale. Two different kinds of kale. Again, I should probably protect this over the weekend, but since I'm going to be gone, I'm not going to. I'm just going to take my chances that it will survive. So I think that's going to be it for this year, because once we get a hard freeze, everything will be done. So thank you so much for joining me for this gardening season. Next year, I have decided that I'm going to do an all hybrid garden. As much as I can. There are some things that I'm going to not be able to do hybrid, but I really kind of want to see what the difference is between growing all these heirlooms and growing hybrids. The other thing I want to do within that hybrid gardening is replace my CSA. Now I get a CSA share this year and I did it last year, but I will not do it again next year because I was very disappointed in it. And so I'm going to take what I liked about the CSA and grow it in my garden and try to make a true production garden next year. And don't do any experimenting, because I always love to experiment. So I'm going to try to control the experimenting bug that I have in me. And just really replace that and see if I can grow enough of what I enjoyed about the CSA share, the plants I like to get, and see if I can get them by myself in this garden. I should be able to. So thanks so much for watching for this gardening season, and we will see you next year. Talk to you soon. Happy gardening, everybody. Bye-bye.